even with them having a potential 5 primetime games, that's pretty much still an all-time high for this Cleveland Browns team to be put on TV that much. Now, as Brian Windhorst, oh my goodness. As Brian Windhorst would say, why would they do that? What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will back with another video, and today we got to get into another interesting video topic. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, man. We just surpassed 300 subscribers on our last video, so road to 400 subs now. I really appreciate you guys. But I just want to get into this video and go over a couple of things. So the Cleveland Browns have been put up to, if not an all-time high, I could be over-exaggerating, but I think this is the most prime-time potential games that they have been eligible for in the last 10 years. And that's very, very significant when you think of the Browns and how they're usually looked in the national media light. Now, if you guys wondering, you guys probably not, what type of hoodie I got on. It's my clothing brand, detrimental figures. You know, it's Bedfig, it's gifted, it's backwards, so that's why I got gifted up here. It's all about picking a choice between the bad or good. But my description always got my brand in there, so you guys can always check that out. But getting back to it, you know, you got the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns is a very touchy team. Very touchy team. We got to look at the Browns and who they are and what the results they have put up. You got this team that went 11 and 6 last season with all of the injuries they sustained, all of the problems at quarterback, and they still found a way to still win 11 games. No Nick Chubb, no Deshaun Watson, simply off the strength of that defense. Now, the Browns only had, two primetime games last season? 2 or 3 primetime games last season. So with that, now they're kind of being almost doubled. You got to look at all of the big-time games that they're potentially being looked at. They got automatically scheduled for 4 primetime games. They got Week 18 flex with the Ravens that could be made a 5th primetime game. And you got the Cowboys game that's a national media spotlight. That's not technically a primetime game, but still a 4 p.m. premium getting played across the United States game. They got 6 games at least potentially that'll get played across the entire United States in main markets that even where Cleveland is not stationed, if you guys know what I mean. So the Browns will get played in Missouri or get played in Miami, or the Browns get played in Indianapolis. When those 1 o'clock games are off, all the national media and the pick primetime games will be shifted towards Cleveland versus Dallas. So I consider that a primetime game in my defense. You guys, if you don't want to count it, then you can say the Browns got potential 5. Even with them having a potential 5 primetime games, that's pretty much still an all-time high for this Cleveland Browns team to be put on TV that much. Now, as Brian Windhorst, oh my goodness. As Brian Windhorst would say, why would they do that? You know, why is the Cleveland Browns on national TV at an all-time high? When they got a quarterback who a lot of people dislike, they got a coach who, you know, is good, 1-2 times coach of the year, and they got a defensive end in Myles Garrett coming off winning defensive player of the year, who hit a guy with a helmet on TV. Their 2 stars has been very, very negatively criticized for things that has nothing to do with football. I mean, slamming a helmet on a guy's head, and we're not going to bring up what Deshaun Watson did or got accused of doing on, YouTube. But, not to here nor there, not saying that I'm against those guys or any way, but why would you put that, the average person to think, why would you want that on TV? Why would you want that displayed when you know what Myles Garrett has done, when you know what Deshaun Watson has been accused of? Why would you want that displayed? That's what the national, casual person assume is, hey, the Cleveland Browns shouldn't be on TV because they have the quarterback that has a lot of, bad baggage, and you got a defensive end who's known for slamming his helmet on a quarterback's head after tackling him. So, either know it was awesome to me, but we're not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna, don't leave the video because I said that. But I'm not talking about Deshaun Watson. Talk about Myles Garrett, of course. But getting into it, the Browns simply can't be ignored, and I think the NFL is getting ahead of this curve. They're not gonna have 20. I mean, knock on wood. The chances of them having another year with 23% of their roster being on IR is completely unlikely. You know, the chances of Deshaun Watson having another injury year like that is completely unlikely. Now, Nick Chubb injury history, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with the injury bug. But we've seen it with the Baltimore Ravens. They had the injury bug. They came back the next year. They were pretty much fine. Same goes for Lamar Jackson. Hopefully the Browns can follow suit with that. But this is a team that looks like they're prime and due for a year like the Baltimore Ravens. You got Jerry Jeudy getting added on. You pretty much brought all your defensive talent back. You know, the biggest piece, not biggest piece, but, you know, one of the biggest pieces you lost was Sione Takitaki, who's not that big of a piece to replace. He's a pretty much of a key position, of course, and he's a great contributor on that defense. But you didn't lose any star players, and you're getting all your star players back. It's no reason that this Cleveland Browns team shouldn't win 10 games. If they don't, you know, and they're healthy, Stefanski should probably be gone, or at least be under extreme microscope. If not Deshaun Watson, somebody should be under, if not being fired, if this Browns team doesn't win 10 games. So with the NFL seeing that and knowing that, you know, this is the team that won 11 games despite all the excuses you could have given them. You could have talked about their QB situation. You could have talked about the fact that, you know, they were completely unhealthy on the offensive side of the football. You could point out their offensive line. It's a whole nother factor I haven't mentioned. It's this Cleveland Browns offensive line. All of the issues they had on offense because they kept having leakage on that offensive line. Now they're getting Jack Conklin back. Now they're getting Jed Wills back. Now they're getting DeJuan Jones back. You know, those are some of their best top-tier offensive linemen on their team. They're getting those guys back, and now they have depth at the offensive line position. Now they have depth at the running back position, getting the Deontay Foreman, getting Jerome Ford. They got depth at the quarterback position. They got better from going from Joe Flacco to Tyler Huntley. They got better going from DTR to Jameis Winston. They got better going from, you know, getting Deshaun Watson back, getting Deshaun Watson healthy, getting Nick Chubb healthy. This is a team that is prime for a big season. Prime. All the factors are there. They're retained. They got a good defense. They got a good running back. Let's just say Nick Chubb is a top 10 running back. When he left the game, he was the best running back in the league. People forget how good Nick Chubb is. Simply having Tyler Huntley and Nick Chubb on this football team with the defense playing it the way they have played, that's prime. Going into a second year, we got to remember this defense is coming off its first season. Going into a second season, this defense being as good as it is, if the Browns simply just had a great running game with Nick Chubb, you know, they'll be due for 10 games. Not to mention, they got Deshaun Watson. Take Nick Chubb out of the picture. A standard Deshaun Watson playing 18 games. Deshaun Watson just so happily staying healthy, you are due for at least a top 12 quarterback season. Plus a top 5, top 3, no, I'm not going to say top 5, a top 3 defense, a top 10 running back, a top 12 quarterback, and a top 10 head coach. And that's being genuinely light. We don't know what Deshaun Watson could be a top 10 quarterback. Nick Chubb could be a top 5 running back. You know, this could be the best defense in the league. Let's just, you know, going light at it. Top 3 defense, top 12 QB, top 10 running back. That's a playoff contender. That's easily better than the Miami Dolphins. It's easily better than the Buffalo Bills. You're automatically up there with the Kansas Cities, with the Bengals, with the Baltimore Ravens. You know, right then and there. So, man, it makes a lot of sense for this team to be on the national media spotlight and for them to be in these primetime games. And they gotta put up and show out. You got week 1 against the Cowboys, America's team, with Tom Brady on the call. Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry. that's when everything has to be buttoned up and ready to go. We don't have time to struggle. We don't have time to, we're going to be judged and looked at. This national media is going to know how good this Cleveland Browns team is. There's going to be nothing you can hide from it. If they come out and they beat Dallas and they start off hot, everybody's going to be talking. Not everybody, but, we're going to be probably ignored a little bit. But then we got games against the Chiefs. We got games against the Steelers. We got games against the Ravens. We got games in national spotlight when the Browns have a good record. Say they starting off 10-3, 10-4, and they're playing the Chiefs. That's 9-5. That's a big national media game. And it's in prime time. That's a big talked about game. And that's going to be a game that our quarterback is going to have to go blow for blow with the best. Our defense is going to have go blow for blow with the best offenses. Our coach is going to have to go blow for blow with the best head coaches. This Cleveland Browns team, this organization has to be ready for the national media spotlight. And they have to answer the bell because they have been given the opportunity for the first time in a long time due to how good their roster is and the success they had last season. So it's going to be up to Deshaun Watson, Kevin Stefanski, and the entire 53-man roster to answer the question, is the Cleveland Browns going to be a good team that overachieved last year and now they're getting put back to reality, or a team that was hindered by injury that could potentially win a Super Bowl? You guys tell me down below, what do you see for this Cleveland Browns team in their future, bad or good, and how will this pan out? They've been given the opportunity to put up or shut up, and I hope that Kevin Stefanski can get his team ready to go and get his quarterback especially ready to go to perform. That's my thoughts on it. Obviously, I think the Browns are going to do good. I have a Browns channel. But being unbiased, I do think this team is due for a big year if they can just stay healthy. The biggest thing is if they can stay healthy. A lot of injury-prone players on this team. You got Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin, Jed Wills, Joel Bitonio, Jerry Jeudy. It's a lot of injury-prone players on this roster. So if they can stay healthy, I think this is going to be a 12-win team. And I think this Cleveland Browns team is in due for one of their best years as a franchise. How would the NFL handle that? It's going to be really interesting to see when you got Deshaun Watson, who's going to probably be at the front, or if at least the back seat or the passenger seat of driving the success of this team. Either it's going to be number one defense, number two Deshaun Watson, or number one Deshaun Watson, number two defense. It's not going to be no in between because he's the quarterback of this team. He's going to have to get some more credit of it. Even if you look at the 49ers with Brock Purdy, I don't necessarily think Brock Purdy's all that good, but he's still getting a lot of the credit for it. So it's going to be interesting to see how the national media and how everybody kind of spins it. Is Deshaun Watson going to be overrated because of this Cleveland Browns football team, or is it going to be more of a defense getting blasted and pushed up, to put down and undermine what Deshaun Watson has done? Because that's kind of what it was last season. But at the same time, when Deshaun Watson was throwing for 289, really for 300 yards against the Titans, that was at 1 o'clock. Nobody wasn't watching that. So it's going to be up to him to perform in these big-time games. When everybody seen him against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he underperformed. So it's going to be a lot to see, man, a lot to unfold. A lot of questions could be answered. But we will get a question and we will get the answer on Deshaun Watson this year, because if he gets injured again, he's cooked. Injury prone. If he's playing bad, he's washed. And if he plays good, it's going to be the logical answer of this was just a guy that needed to get on the field and needed to knock off some of the rust and needed to just get back in the swing of things because he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. So we shall see, man. We shall see. All of your questions will be answered. The question on if the offense can coexist, if Stefanski can work with a more talented quarterback and he don't need a game managing type of quarterback, those questions will get answered. Can Nick Chubb come back? Those questions will get answered. So big season for this Cleveland Browns football team, man. You guys comment down below your thoughts on this video. I love everybody. Peace. I'm out. Let's rock.